Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero Psych, Defender of the Fatherland. We're off here to 1 versus 1 on Faymonville Approach in the north. We got here Redxwings fighting for king and country, the Commonwealth. Taking on the road here with the 52nd Infantry Division, tasked with encroaching on German positions under the command of Fahu, fighting here for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Taking on the role here of the 15th Panzergrenadier Division. We're looking at Storm Doctrine, Lightning War, and Spearhead with Triple Infantry versus Redxwings, Royal Engineer, Mobile Assault, and Tactical Support with Triple Infantry there for Redxwings. Double section start with a Universal Carrier there mixed in with a double Grenadier start for Fahu. No early MD-42s with which, to pin down his opponent's troops to try and control any sort of flow of British infantry, which will work out if Redxwings doesn't go heavy on infantry. But if Redxwings goes for a infantry build, Fahu could run into some issues there. He could run into some issues, and British infantry builds have been popular as of late, so we'll have to see how this works out specifically for Fahu. We've got the Universal Carrier there rolling ahead straight down the road through the fences. No time for signals or anything. Grenadiers are quickly falling back. We got a big push there for the centre for Redxwings. No attempt at securing the fuel right away. Grenadiers versus the Universal Carrier. Bren Gun versus 4 Car 98Ks. Pioneers, or Grenadiers heading northwards, while the Pioneers continue southwards there, securing territory for the Fatherland. With a third Grenadier squad there for Fahu on the way. A full 3 Grenadier squads there, with 3 sections from Redxwings. Pioneers caught out near the end fields of the section, doing quite a bit of damage there, and poor Jurgen is the first man to bite the bullet in service of the Fatherland, dropping there on the mud. Up north, Grenadiers putting forward to the good section there. They're blocking here, making it harder for Fahu to score the points, as he can't actually make cover with the Grenadiers. And we got the Universal Carrier as well here for Redxwings, quickly aiming for local superiority. Fahu just splits up, doesn't bother the fuel point until he get up more forces. We got a third Grenadier squad here for Fahu, and the 15th Panzer Grenadiers in the south section moving towards the victory point here. 4th Grenadier squad there for Fahu, so it kind of looks like a tier 3 rush, but at the same time, tier 3 rush would usually sneak in an MD-42. Just tier 3 rush with all Grenadiers might not quite be successful there for Fahu if that is what he's planning. Got a point there secured. Pioneers being pushed back at the section. Overall, Redxwings so far is winning most of the engagements, pushing back Fahu, who is rather losing ground here to Redxwings and the 52nd Infantry Division. Grenadiers sneaks northwards here. So Fahu is basically, for the time being, not seeking out big engagements there for Redxwings. Not trying to seek out the enemy storm, at least not without somehow assembling local superiority. And looks like it's going to be ready here with those Grenadiers moving from the north, so it's going to have 2 squads pushing in there against the house there while trying to secure the point here. Those Grenadiers already taking losses. This is kind of where it'd be useful if you had elite troops that maybe had access to light concussive grenades, so that way flush out the sections. Second Grenadier squad needs to get on there soon. I imagine he'll be pushing in the 4th Grenadier squad. He's basically launching an all-out assault here on the house by the eastern fuel point. With Redxwings only have 2 sections, of course, got 1 in the house, but still then there's going to be a lot of Grenadiers, so there's a chance here if I'll be able to pull through. Section there taking losses, Grenadiers need to get closer there to think we'll be able to support the other one. Grenadiers squad there's going to have to retreat very soon, in fact, and go forced away. Sab's on the way for Redxwings, who's going for a fast tech up, no Vickers himself. And there you go, Universal Carrier rolling up, supporting the chaps. Morgan is around from the north down to just 2 men inside. They're going to have to pop in the other section, but even that's going to be pretty low in health, so you can't really maintain this position for much longer versus Fahu. Fahu's relentless assault will be able to overwhelm the defences here of Redxwings. There we go, section pushed out here, secured the fuel point, although again, Fahu did pay quite the price for it. And of course, it did extract quite a price from Redxwings on it as well. In fact, it might have been slightly favourable here for Fahu because he had local superiority. I mean, he had more or less 4 squads versus 2 sections for up the Universal Carrier. And even though he's doing a lot of damage for the Pioneers all of a sudden there, quickly taking them down to less than half health. Sap's moving up, but out with the Grenadiers in the open. They are easy targets for the marksmen of the Third Reich. I don't think we have marksmen. 9. Grenadiers setting out there, moving out, so we got take up there for Fahu. Could be a tier 3 rush, but again, I don't think so. Might be more likely to go for tier 2 to support it. Maybe a half tier would be great. I mean, again, a lot of players, when they go for a lot of Grenadiers, tend not to go for the half-tick to support them, thus, missing out on the ability to actually do anything there, sort of more sustained with the Grenadiers. So we'll have to see what Fahu ends up with. Does he go for the half-tick, or is he just, go for what most players in this case do for, maybe go for flame for half, take to troops, just pack 40 on this and then go for tier 3. We'll have to see what Fahu ends up with here. Section there, push back. The Grenadiers overwhelming here. Redwings, the lack of machine gun is making it easy. We also got Bolter section up here for Redwings, certainly giving his sections more fighting power versus their Huns. Grabbing the centre victory point there. Universal Care being fixed up. No upgrades there for Redwings, no Vickers K to sort of assist versus the German troops. And we got the like to make a nice complete plus a bankrupt for Fahu, healing for the men. But will there be any light machine guns for the men, or will that be somehow missing there for Fahu? And there you go, big push here, taking losses as they approach, but as soon as they get up close into cover, Redwing section will be able to dominate the Grenadiers with another squad they're supporting. There's just too many Tommies with too many guns. Though not Tommy guns. That's an entirely different thing. Universal Care supporting, still an upgrade, Grenadiers pushing forward, still no sign of light machine guns here for Fahu. But it's going to need to take heavy losses, no machine guns to support them, no half-tick either. Oh, rifle rate there though makes quite an impact. Missed that one a bit there. And so did Redwings, almost losing the squad. There we go, Pantherfast basically uses the Universal Care as bait. Basically making that more of a tempting target than wiping the section on retreat there. And I think in this case, Fahu actually took the bait. So that was a sneaky little move there, or at least clever move there by Redwings against Fahu. A lot of saps on the way there. Fahu, though, going for the 2-2, which is certainly a good move versus the Brits if they do not have any sort of like the armoured car 6-pounder gun to actually counter it. That would be great for Fahu because, well, he's got no Panzerfaust, no anti-tank grenades, no nothing effect doctrine either. There is, well, nothing. Babkas, zip, nada. In terms of actual things, can slow down the 2-2 here. So 2-2 is currently an excellent choice for Fahu, and we'll be able to punish Redwings quite brutally. I mean, there's not even mines down there from Redwings, so this is going to get quite unpleasant for our friend here. Fixing up the Universal Care there. We got sappers moving northwards, hitting the northern munitions in the far north. With the trees are slightly brown and yellowish. Like the other trees, but slightly more yellowish. Got the 2-2 there rolling forwards across the dusty roads. And there you go, catching a section that crosses over the ditches. Auto cannon cracks from machine gun there, raking away. With the section they're trying to push for the fuel point, but that one supporting the retreat path and covering it might find itself soon dispatched with all haste. No sign of anti-tank guns there for Redwings. Is he going for the armoured car? No sign either. Looks like he might try and push for Piats. Bit more risky versus the 2-2. If he can get saps or anything close enough to get some hits, it can work, but if he doesn't, or just Fahu keeps the 2-2 a good distance, it's going to be really hard for Redwings to actually counter it. In the south, the Universal Care pushing back the Pioneers with Universal Care still no upgrades there. But obviously now he wants to say up munitions for Piats. Apparently. Up north, sappers there ruthlessly dispatched by the Grenadiers. Fahu's brought one light machine gun so far to the fray here. Eine kleines leichtes Maschinengewehr. Back at base, nothing further happening for Fahu. No Panzergrenadiere. Mortars, MG42s, snipers, packs. You name it, he's not going for it. Section finding on house. I mean, this is really more suited either for something like machine guns, but preferably heavy machine guns, since with only one window on each side, there's a bit of a limit to what a single infantry squad can do. Big limit, in fact. We got Pack 40 there for Fahu, who's clearly worried about British vehicles or armour. So far, Redwings is no. Oh, that briefly looked like he was going to go for it. It's actually going for another sapper section. We got the Piats out there. Tank hunter team improvised here by Redwings. Sappers there getting gutted by German infantry, Grenadiers, Pioneers, MP40s versus Sten guns. And these are taking loss as well. We got more light machine guns up for Fahu, but ultimately, out negative cover doesn't matter much when there's a bunch of Brits firing their rifles at you. The third sapper section out here, meaning Redwings has gone for a very infantry approach, but with a mix of sections and sappers. Quite interesting now. What could his long-term game be besides apparently going for a bunch of Piats? So that is possibly second to third Piat. Looks like to be his second Piat actually. He's only got one Piat on that and not one Piat on the other. Sapper section, fuel being cut off in the south, even as he's pushing for the northern fuel, and we got here some plucky Grenadiers harassing behind Redwings lines. Upon they're secured by the Pioniere with their MP40s. And it's moving forwards, engaging the section side. Piats flying through the air. Use the projectiles. Second Pack 40. If you're going for double pack 40s like this, it actually usually means you're planning something pretty big in terms of tech, which could indicate he might be planning for tier 4, or he's planning on relying on a Tiger colon. That's basically sort of the two options there. If he's going straight for a Tiger, I would not advise that for Fahu. That would be rather on the sillier end of the spectrum, opening up here for Redxwings just to catch back into the game and bringing up some medium armor to just pummel back Fahu. Even with the double packs, but I just don't see any other way for him to do except again Panthers, Storm Panthers, or Tiger. I mean, you do not go for double pack 40s if there's nothing else planned whatsoever. Swinging up from here with the Grenadier, heading the cut-off point there. Fahu keeping up momentum, movement versus Redxwings, and wiping a sapper section. The Piet lost for all time, eternity. Quite a loss there for Redxwings, was already short on anti-tank weapons here versus Fahu, and is quickly finding himself isolated with a small salient there, if not downright almost a pocket there in the centre. Very tenuously connected. That's generally the first time I think I've seen sort of the connection like that, or sort of set up there on the map. So that's kind of interesting. The 2-2 are going back, could do with some repairs. Grenadiers pushing forwards here against the section, outmaneuvering it with some expert light machine gun fire that is close to medium range and just pulling the trigger. Getting points here. Lisa comes from Terrace up north. You got Fahu there using the 2-2 as a light tank, rolling through and basically absorbing hits, allowing infantry to follow up there and punch through Redxwings lines like a fist through cake. And you might be asking yourself, why would you punch a cake? To which the answer is, because you hate it. And of course, because you want to push the Allies back into the sea, obviously. Why else would you punch a cake? Anyway, section there, this is Grenadiers. South up, so quickly replace the lost sappers with more sappers, and he's going straight for armor. So it looks like here Redxwings is kind of planning a armor rush here for himself. No armored cars. He might want to consider fuel capturing to really support this versus Fahu. It's actually getting a lot of map here. Fahu is running some issues. That can be the issue when you actually go for a lot of Grenadiers. You sort of run into, you know, constant bleed, and you can't always maintain his easing, particularly when you don't have support weapons or a half-tech. And that's usually the sort of flaw of this kind of, you know, just go for a lot of Grenadiers build. And there goes taking up, and again, if the prediction, actually it's said too many times again there, but anyway, and again. But if the prediction sticks, he will aim for tier 4 here, in which case you just keep up the tempo and go for it bloody fast. Oh, as again, oh dear, I said it again, didn't I? I did it again. Anyways, but otherwise, it's not really a rush if you're not going for it really, really fast. In fact, he's aiming up for 5 Grenadiers now. So Fahu trying to push for it with a lot of Grenadiers. Not even Panzer Grenadiers, you know, these heavily armed gentlemen with assault rifles, which tend to be pretty good. In particular, if your opponent has a lot of unupgraded infantry, the Panzer Grenadiers are especially excellent. Sadly, Fahu's missing out there just to go for 5 Grenadiers. We've got actually some Bren guns now for the sections of Redxwings. Rifle grenade off this time though. Redxwings is on the button, avoiding explosive death, and you got the US Care rushing forwards again. Veterans who won. Not really doing a lot there besides just being a nuisance. He would benefit from, you know, upgrading it with a bigger scale or something similar. Section versus Grenadiers here, heavy cover. Well, kind of rubble by now versus a wooden cart. Double pack 40, still waiting for some kind of target. And he's just doubling down here, even ordering them not to even remotely consider firing, just in case. Which could, in theory, if he's not quite paying attention, could allow Redxwings to rush it with a tank and just wipe it out. But there is still time before he can begin rolling out the tanks. There's still time. As for Fahu, could it be a Suprema core? I mean, otherwise he should be pushing straight for tier 4 now. Sappers gutted in the open here. 2-2 continues to back covering fire for what little is left to cover as it retreats in the opposite direction. 6-pounder gun there for Redxwings, so he knows he's got some time for armor. He's obviously worth Fahu might be pushing for medium armor, which he could be, but so far it looks like he's playing for tier 4, so Redxwings doesn't desperately need the 6-pounder gun here to curtail a possible armor rush there from Fahu. Universal Care there hanging back. Section getting blasted inside the house. Walls slowly crumbling as autocannon fire punches out bricks wood and mortar. And it is pushed back. There's to try to go for the cutoff point of Redxwings. In the south, you've got to pick a push here from Fahu, Grenadiers, Minesweeper Pioneers, sweeping away Redxwings' southern front. Like a broom sweeps away the dust of the British Empire. There we go, 6-pounder gun lands a good hit there on the 222. The Americans, by the way, just copied the 6-pounder gun by getting a license, because by the time they realised they needed big anti-tank guns, they realised they also couldn't get around to designing a new one fast enough. So they basically just asked the Brits to, if they could license it. They did, and they called the M1 57mm gun. Fun fact there. Sappers versus Pioneers, MP40s versus Stens, Flamethrowers versus Piat. That's rather a win there for the Pioneers, unless the Piat lands some really excellent hits. Or many more Brits arrived to thusly turn the tide decisively. Overall, the Fahu maintaining good pressure. Again, he's not trying to get bogged down in one spot. Granted, Redxwings isn't trying to feed him into that. He's also trying to outmaneuver Fahu. Well, because neither player really has any heavy machine guns, they're not really as much trying to establish any serious front lines. They're just trying to sneak about the other ones. There's a lot more sort of fluid play here between the two, except for the houses. The houses. Redxwings still getting closer to a tank. He couldn't feel rushed out of center, but he's probably wants to go for Cromwell just in case. Again, Fahu's aiming for the armor. There we go. We got tier 4. We got a potential heavy Panzer Corps, and lastly a Panther. Section there, blasting the Grenadiers to dust. Well, dead corpses. Only one Grenadier squad there to fend for itself behind a increasingly vanishing fence, as it gets flanked there by the section as well. Good flank here by trying to sneak about, hit his calf point. In this case, the Redxwings got too strong a position on the calf point, making it hard for Fahu to push forwards. Constant infantry maneuver wars here. Universal care, low in health. Still no upgrade for Redxwings though. Still no upgrades. No Vickers K. Or, Wasp just denying cover and houses there. That would also be a good idea there for him. Roughing it off. Dodged there nicely by Redxwings. Sappers blasting away at the Piats. And Pioneers versus section here. Veteran 3. The Pioneers, though, are not. And they get a Minesweeper, which is about as intimidating as, I don't know, a box of kittens. Probably less intimidating, since someone might actually have an allergy to kittens. Good lord, those Huns. They knew about my cat allergy. Oh god. Bastards. Got the 6-pounder gun moving up there. Grenadiers launching a small-scale assault in the centre. Light machine guns ready to cut down any Tommies. Fun fact, they could fire it while standing, and even more importantly, they actually had instructions for if you actually were a short person, how you could then sort of fire the light machine gun while standing. Fun fact. That's the German army for you. Very thorough when it comes to those details. I can't quite remember the specifics of it though, but I think it was something about adjusting the Stratton where it was holding the light machine gun. Section there holding up, but again, Fahu just increases pressure in a very violent manner with just a lot of infantry. Section coming up here. Bren guns blasting away at those dastardly Huns. Ensuring that the chaps get back home safe to Old Blighty. No, maybe. Grenadiers there slowly just whittling away at the section, low on health. But not in numbers or courage. But they are short on T though. Pioneers Grenadiers are launching assault here towards the centre. Redxwings falling back. He's not even going for tank first. He's aiming straight for anvil tactics. Alright. Definitely Redxwings. He actually then soon go for Churchill tank, which would be reasonably effective if Fahu wasn't aiming straight possibly for a Panther, but also just double pack 40s. Fahu not off far from the Panther though. He's got the fuel, he just needs the manpower. He can bring up one of the Third Reich's semi-finest war machines. Although he could also end up being just as tempted to go for the Tiger tank, which would be a kind of waste than to go all the way for tier 4, building it, and then going for a Tiger tank. It always just feels like a bit of a waste to me. Gunners are being executed out in the open, a bit too easy targets there. And we could say, oh, first white against Fahu. Poor decision there to engage against that many sections with that much veterancy and that many Bren guns. That was just... I think he must have hated those Grenadiers. We got Lightning War for Fahu, the first doctrine of the match, almost 20 minutes in the game. Generally, I always recommend you don't wait that long. Generally. Churchill tank halfway down there for Redwings and the 52nd Infantry Division ready to wade through the German lines. Sappers need to roll back though. And the South Rash going for the victory point there. Noting Fahu's got a fat lead there with Redwings at the moment. And lost a sapper section again. He's not lost any sort of his main section, the infantry section, but the sappers though are bleeding up quite a bit there for Redwings. And Fahu is aiming for the Tiger tank. So he takes for the heavy panzer corps, builds the heavy panzer corps, and then goes for the Tiger. That's not very efficient. And particularly because that means now Redwings going to hand out a tank faster. And it's only one that Fahu will struggle quite a bit to deal with, since it is pretty tough in terms of health, and lastly can soak up a ton of damage, plus he can sort of reasonably deal with his infantry and his armoured cars. So Churchill tank on the move. As for which Churchill is named for, there's actually, I think, no real sort of clarity if it's named for like some Earl of Marlborough Churchill or, well, the Prime Minister Churchill. Sappers are going to do here. University, they're zipping away like a beetle on treads. There's still no upgrades for. He seems very reluctant to upgrade it, perhaps expecting it to go up in flames at any moment, and lastly, doesn't want to have to deal with the grief of the lost munitions. But ends up just keeping it alive. Feels a bit weird there. But Fahu once more with a fresh offensive, seizing most of the map, but will once more fall into that tiny little detail. He can't hold it very well because he doesn't have anything to reinforce his kind of terrain with in terms of machine guns. He could at least build some bunkers. That would, I think, sort of do a lot to stiffen up his lines versus Redwings' incessant attacks and raids. How it Churchill moving about there, getting ready for some kind of big push. Reinforcing. Fun fact, the first tank to take out a Tiger tank that was in Tunisia was a Churchill tank. That was a Churchill tank. Sappers getting blasted here by Grenadier. Section pushed back there. Heading for the fuel point. And we got mobile assault for Redwings, opening up for commanders, flamethrowers, land mattresses, vehicle crew repairs. Churchill moving straight in front of the double pack 40s. That turns out to be not rightfully good there for them. Gets panzer fast, but again, the Churchill can soak up an awful lot of damage. He was known as an infantry tank, and infantry tanks were meant to support an infantry during an assault, basically just soaking up as much damage as possible. Predecessors to that concept were the Matilda and the Valentine tanks. And we got infiltration commands. There you go, ping right behind the pack 40s, could wipe them up pretty aggressive with this silent Sten guns opening up. But there you go, kind of 2-2 opening up. Almost got one of the pack 40s there. Pushes forwards again with section 6 gun supporting. Almost got one of the pack 40s. Interesting enough, he did not try to pop a grenade. And we got the Tiger tank out for Fahu. Almost got the 2-2 there. Pack 40s looks like they'll be able to get away. Sections not quite following up as aggressively as they could, I feel. Tiger advancing swiftly as a Tiger can. Tiger tank was reasonably fast actually, about I think the same speed as a Sherman tank. And these are being pushed back as it gets swarmed there from the flank. And we got the Tiger advancing, pin I'm seeing on the way there. Commandos, sappers getting blasted by the 88mm gun of the Tiger tank. Troops setting up, Churchill in desperate repairs. So of course, in that regard, it's pretty great that Redwings got all these sappers because he can very quickly get it back into action. In particular, then goes for the heavy engineers to get, more upgrades in that regard. He gets better repair speed, a Vickers K. Oh, sappers wiped by the Tiger. Excellent marksmanship there by Gunner Carl. Did you see that? That man was trying to run to get to safety, and I killed him. Yeah, you do us all credit, Carl. Yeah, you're a good man. Tiger there blasting away. Redwings men are quite dangerous exposed to the Tiger out in the open. Fun fact about the Tiger tank, when they first deployed it, they rather did so in a very peculiar manner. Like, there were 3 battalions sort of ready, but not fully. So what was apparently done is they took basically roughly around a platoon from each of the 3 Tiger tank battalions they had ready and dispatched them, for different parts of the fronts, meaning they never really achieved any concentration of Tiger tanks anywhere. There was like 10 Tigers in North Africa, 10 Tigers in Eastern Europe, and I can't remember where the other 10 were. Basically, they weren't even concentrating, you couldn't even get any sort of seismic effect in there. So it ended up being kind of a waste of the Tiger tanks. Just gave them away, but also just wasted them because they could not achieve any significant numbers. Like, had they just sort of, you know, pushed all, say, 30 Tiger tanks into one spot like North Africa, or maybe the Eastern Front, they probably could have achieved some kind of superiority that could have pulled through. So that's a little fun note there on the Tiger tank and its initial employment. Not very successful. Plus, of course, there were all the teething issues as well, but even that could have been overcome, you know, better concentration of those big tanks. Redxwings also, by the way, really low in victory points, down to less than 200. Fahu still at 400. Again, his aggressive infantry maneuvers has successfully maintained control of the victory points. So the Tiger tank here is only going to make things much of a bigger mess there for Redxwings. He's going to have to get a Firefly out. They're also doing telemines there from Fahu. Then he's being pushed back there by the section, and up north here to support the Sap Pioneers there to grab points.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
And we got a land matches rocket launch out for Redxwings, so that would try and pummel Fahu into submission, to destroy his defences, slaughter his men, smoke out his smokehouses. Searching again, glass up with the 2-2, not the 2-2, but the Tiger tank. Then it is versus the Churchill tank. Not sure what to call that a universal carrier. That's about like, as you might be noticing, there's a bit of a size difference between the two there. Also note, he still hasn't upgraded it. He's also getting close to 15 feet, so pretty good work there with Redxwings, keeping his universal carrier alive. Ooh, mine spotted here by the Pioneers, ensuring the Tiger doesn't end up with the damage in. The commanders are forced to run here, away from the Tiger. Tiger. Pushing the centre here. Redxwings really need to do something about those victory points. We also got air support here ready for Fahu. Stuka close air support. The 15th Panzer Division, not just getting supported here by a mighty Tiger tank, but also Stukas. Now some additional armor. You could go for a Panther to support Tiger. That would establish complete armor dominance versus Redxwings. That would definitely be, I think, quite suitable. But we'll have to see what it ends up with here for Fahu, who might not be expecting a Firefly though. A Firefly, I think, is what Redxwings going to have to go for here versus Fahu. Still some time to go. I mean, Fahu's effectively denying all of Redxwings' fuel here, and that land matches by did not help out. But he probably wants to get it to try and deal with infantry, but more importantly, the packs, because otherwise he can very quickly lose the Firefly if he hits into that pack front. Tiger going straight for it, 6 prime gun supporting as well. Air support called in as well here. Fahu wants total annihilation. There we go. Several shots there, shredding the armour of the Churchill tank, leaving the crew feeling quite bad about themselves. And striking out the 6 pounder gun exposed here. He's got the pack force project to destroy it if it gets abandoned. And that would certainly make Redxwings quite sad. There we go. Crew gunned down in cold blood by the Grenadiers. And now Redxwings more or less just pushed back to a small sliver of the map here by Fahu. His Churchill so far is not really putting him into glory. And tea with the Queen. Or the King. Maybe both. Grenadiers almost wiped out here by the section. Annihilated. Another wipe against Fahu. And Panther for Fahu. Good, good. Panzerkampfwagen 5. Around the point. No, he cancelled it for Panzerwerfer. Not a huge fan of that. I mean, it can work out, but the problem is it sort of better works as a player blobs up a lot as plays very statically, and so far Redxwings has not really proved him much of either, so the Panzerwerfer might not find much gainful employment. Plus, it's a rather tricky unit to use for a lot of people. Most rocket artillery weapons tend to be. But the Panther is sort of almost on the same level as the Stukas, which I mean, people will get it and then they won't actually do a lot with it. I mean, Redxwings is one of the people who can actually use these Panzerwerfer quite efficiently, but Fahu will have to see. But I'm not a fan of that. Again, I think he should have aimed for the Panther just for, like, armor dominance. Whereas with this, there's actually an opening here for Redxwings sort of get back in terms of armor. You've got a Firefly, something else supporting the Tiger, and that would dealing with it. Grenadiers are being gutted here by the Bren section. Those Bren guns are having quite an impact there, and Fahu's going to deal it. And that's going to be another wipe here. That's actually pretty bad for Fahu. All of a sudden beating out. They could at least go on maybe for relief infantry. That way sort of fill out some of the gaps there. with the infantry equivalent of sawdust, the Ostro. Not very nutritious, but very filling. Got the Panzerwerfer there unleashing 10 rockets of doom, hoping to catch a section up and acting about the base. But of course, here we see sort of the problem. He's scattered, but also he doesn't actually know where it is, so he's just blind firing, which is not something really the Panzerwerfer is good at. You really need to know where it is because it's just, you know, one, you know, boom. It's not really something like, you know, how it just can consistently have a chance at something because it's constantly just firing at the area, just denying the area. So the Panzer in that regard is really bad for blind fire. You want to know where your target is. You want to have a good chance of hitting it. Otherwise, Panzerwerfer is essentially just a waste of resources. So it's not so good there for Fahu, and he probably would have benefited just more from a Panther again, just being able to threaten the church and any armor Redxwings might have gotten. And if you really wanted artillery, you're better off with mortars then. Die Granatenwerfer. Redxwings down to 99 versus Fahu's 410. He is definitely fighting from the back foot. And there you go, commandos rushing out from behind some crates with their silent Sten guns, which were much to fight submachine guns on several levels to pretty much be more or less almost as silent as it could be, though they also generated a lot of heat and you couldn't fire them on full auto for long. Makes you want to, you know, burn out the barrel. It also meant the gun itself actually covered in canvas, so you could actually hold the submachine gun or else you'd burn your fingers. Up north here section there's the 222s. Bren guns versus an armoured car, not exactly the most favourite fight there for Redxwings. Alright chaps, just believe in king and country and we can do this. Really? Maybe. I heard it told if we do it, it might work out. Working in the Tiger there, closing in on Veterans 1. It's a blitzkrieg. Church are there also getting closing in Veterans 1, and the ability for someone to shoot out the sides of the tank. I don't actually know if they did that, if there's something Relic made up. I mean, they can pull out some of the more surprising details, so I'd not rule it out, but I just so far not find any sort of indications they would actually do that. Plus, in some ways, it's a kind of risk, you know. Alright, chaps, I'll just peek out. Hello, Mr. German. Oh, hello, Mr. Grenade. Oh, clown shoes. A lot of firepower there. Land matches trying to down an area. I mean, that regard again, the sustained barrage of the land matches is a bit more useful in some ways, at least for just denying territory. But it's not really having a sizable impact on Fahu either. Under fire from the 6-pounder gun, make a pack full of their wipe. You could steal and turn against Fahu. That would be pretty good for Redxwings, so obviously just destroy it to deny it with Fahu. And there he goes, stealing the 6-pounder gun. Holy smokes! That was really bad there. Ah, he just got away. The Redxwings didn't turn the pack fully fast. Oh, holy moly. Someone needs a new clean pair of underpants there. Talk about close. But of course, now there's a counterattack. He immediately wiping the pack 40 there. Gone in a storm of bullets. Trying to destroy it here before Fahu can regain it. Grab the fuel pump back, grab the northern victory point here with the 2-2. We've got 99 versus 374. Sappers need to retreat as well. There's just again a lot of light machine guns and a lot of angry Germans wielding those light machine guns. One of the most nastiest combos known to man. Germans with machine guns. Got the Churchill rolling back there. Pursued angrily here by Fahu's Tiger tank. Gets a nice penetrating hit there against the Tiger's 100mm of frontal armour. The Churchill was much thicker than the Tiger. I think it was like 152mm of frontal armour. Again, it was made to just raid through German defensive positions, just take all the hits. The south point secured. Granted, it didn't have the most amazing gun, as that wasn't really again meant to take on tanks. In fact, like the first ones had, I think, a 57mm gun. Only later would they get a 75mm gun. There was also a prototype with a 17-pounder gun known as the Black Prince. Command to receive for grenades with G43s. We can see the slightly beginning to appear gaps in Fahu's lines. It's now just restored to G43s rather than light machine gun at this stage. You know, maybe not considering panzer grenadiers, which would be quite efficient as well. He's actually got the universal carriage of Veteran 3. He actually got it there. That's actually impressive. And even without upgrading it. On the other hand, he's losing the section into the Tiger tank. And we've finally got a Firefly there for Redxwings. We've also got a heavy section there. With a flamethrower, a Piet, and a Vickers K. They certainly got quite an eclectic mix of weaponry. Closing in a bit too than the Churchill tank. We got a Pack 40 rolling forwards. And the heavy engineers were forcibly pushed back here by a lot of angry pioneers supported by 222. But Redxwings is nonetheless pushing back the front, though he really needs to as well, because he's down to 50 points here. 50 points versus 374 there. And we got the double pack forces just constantly hammering away at the pack of the Churchill tank there. And man can give the crew quite a headache as well. Another land matches barrage. It's not really having much of an impact. He's trying to cast the Pack 40, but obviously Fahu is aware that he's roaming up the Pack 40 there to avoid artillery fire. And these moving forwards. Need to get the commanders in there fast enough, and there you go. He probably should have tried to close in there while the ambush effect was there, and he finally loses the universal care. Bit of loss there for Redxwings. Firefly out here. Could add some tulip rockets, tank command, all that. To get a bit more, it will certainly threaten the Tiger tank quite nicely. And punish Fahu for not going for a Panther to support his Tiger. I mean, he's still got the double packs, obviously, but if, say, anything goes wrong and the packs get sort of quickly wiped out by, say, rushing infantry with silenced end guns or Bren guns, he could suddenly find himself with little support for the Tiger tank. But we'll have to see that. He's also more or less fully pop cap there, so he can't really go for much. They could go for Zapomok or maybe get out a Stuka. That wouldn't be a bad choice. That would not be a bad choice. Or he could go for Panzer Grenadiers. Churchill tank very close to 52. Tiger still some time away there. He's chatting forward. So no grenades from Redxwings would actually benefit from this. You know, fire troops get close and then they get hit with a grenade. Pioneers are getting splattered out here by the Churchill tank. Defending the victory point here with as much valour and courage he can muster. Got a rough grenade there and lands quite nice in the section in the centre, leaving several men dead or dying in there. Go Tiger safe for the Churchill tank. Veteran 2 here. Veteran 2. Increased rate of fire and turret rotation. Firefly is having a nice tea break. So, Charles, what was your job here again? Destroy the Tiger tank if it arrives. Alright. You suppose that big thing might be one? Maybe. I'm sure they'll notify us on radio if it's actually a problem. More biscuits? Oh, thank you. Tiger rolling back there, halfway to the 2-0. They got mines going down the Redxwings finally, and a Panther barrels off here, trying to silence the section, and certainly drowns out their voices under its voluminous barrage of rockets. Heavy engineers on the job again, straight to the 2-2 and the Pioneers. Victory 2 versus Victory 3, but the 2-2 might just shift things in favour of the Pioneers here. And another land matches barrage. 2 kills so far. Not having much of an impression on the 2-2-2. Not having much of an impression. Did hit Veterans who won though. He did hit Veterans who won. Gundy's about here, going for the Firefly, but he absolutely gutted out in the open there. There's the section and the Churchill tank. And they're going to just walk here again. Oh, flanked here. Target weak point on the Churchill tank. This is looking pretty bad for Redxwings. Looking pretty bad. The engine is on fire. The crew is stunned. And the tank is getting hit there with numerous penetrating hits. Got the Tiger tank moving as well for the kill. He's not moving up. The Firefly support is moving nothing in support here. Oh, he's going to lose a rough nail on the 6-pounder gun. Churchill tank goes up in flames. The munitions cooked off. Firefly gets off a single rocket, blinding the Tiger crew for a bit there. Should probably focus down the packs with the sections there at the Tiger, because those Bren guns are going to have about as much of an impact as harsh insults on the Tiger tank. and going to invite about the same response if you try to harshly insult a Tiger tank crew white in the Tiger tank. Ooh, mine went off there. Firefly lands a good hit on the Tiger tank with a 17-pounder gun. Going to disadvantaging strain hits at the veteran 30 kill Bren section. Note that he is only upgraded with one Bren gun, not double upgraded. Also, he hasn't upgraded his, say, infiltration commanders with double Bren guns. That would actually make them much more useful for this kind of defensive play. I mean, just say double Bren gun them, and they'll still be pretty good attacking wise, but you know, much better defending. In particular, that ambush bonus, they'd be really nasty. So that would be, I think, a really good idea there for Redxwings to consider as commanders, just tossing on a pair of Bren guns there. Second Churchill Redxwings, who really wants to make the Churchill here, go for him. Man went off there. Poor Fritz, blown to bits. In the south here, Panzerwehr Barrage flutters away the commandos. 3 kills there, 2 kills. So far, neither rocket artillery piece has really amounted to a lot of kills. A lot of burst eardrums and the likes, but no actual killing done on any larger scale. Six-pounder gun and 5 from the Tiger. Really close to actually 2 if he hits, so that's going to actually be a problem there for Redxwings, so he gets his better range and accuracy, which makes the Tiger tank a lot more issues. There you go. Both rockets landing, stunning and blinding the crew there. Veterans one for the Firefly, getting certainly a lot more useful. It becomes faster. And thus also able to get out of problems, well, faster. Which helps a lot there with survivability. Another land matches bash, this time to drown out the Germans by the Sun Victory point to defend it. Most of the rockets acting in the tree line, and no use of white phosphor wire there for Redxwings. And he's down to 37 versus 288. Going to get really close here for Redxwings. Going to get really close here if he actually pulls through, but it's certainly looking pretty dim here. 29 points there. Firefly lands another good hit on the 2-2, almost takes it up, but still can't quite finish off. And Fahu keeps going for Grenadiers for some reason. Fahu is not interested in Panzer Grenadiers or anything else, and certainly no Panther suggestion of trying to finish off the armour more aggressively. He's fact got 500 fuel, but again, for the most part, he's actually been at more or less full pop cap, so it's not like he would actually go for a lot anyways. So in this case, it's sort of more excusable, but you know, I still feel like the Panzerwehr was a mistake. He would have been better off with the Sturm Panzer or Panther here. And really, he should go for some Panzer Grenadiers. He really should. Another Panzerwehr Barrage, this time much closer and has less scatter, making it a lot more accurate, not more impactful. Fight for the Northern Victory, Pointier section versus Grenadiers. The Bren guns holding back those Huns. Push into the centre, Grenadiers in trouble. We got the Churchill and the Firefly on the third. Bridge react to any attack here by Fahu's Panzer. I would say Panzers, but he's only got a Tiger tank. Sadly, Fahu has neglected the Panzerwaffe. He just keeps going for Grenadiers. He's very intent on them. We also note, by the way, what he's doing, he's actually calling in artillery on the victory point just to block it from being seized. So he's basically using it as blocking fire, which is actually a pretty clever use of the artillery, which most people tend not to consider, but actually just using artillery to deny a point there. So it prevents here for at least some time there Fahu from grabbing the point with just about 45 munitions. A lot of airburst shells there going in. Don't ask. Commanders in hiding. And he's about to find the Churchill tank here, number 2, right next to the wreckage of the first one. I'm sure that inspires confidence to the crew. Second push back there, swarming assault there by Fahu, at least a wave there. Tiger tanks are out, supported by the Pack 40s. 24 points left as a 212. He's bleeding out Fahu here, but it's very much sort of on a racer's edge here for Redxwings, because if anything goes wrong for even too long, in which again is going to be a matter of seconds, he's going to lose. More air support calling to basically neutralise Redxwings' armoured core. We got a land mattress barrage here off here trying to deal with the Pack 40s. There we go, one crew hit. Almost got one. There we go, crew wiped, crew wiped. Both crews wiped. Almost got Pack 40s destroyed. There we go. That's going to make it a lot easier there for Redxwings, to use his armour. That's only going to leave the Tiger a lot more isolated. And there you go, both packs completely destroyed. That is a big win there for Redwings. And Fahu's going to have to replace them. Panther shouldn't be not been a choice less vulnerable there to artillery fire. More fire here. Almost got the sappers, the churches, and the Firefly there, but they do survive. Panther bash going off there, not really doing much against the 6-pounder gun here. Grabbing the centre and southern victory points. Redwings is just creating the tactics even using here crew vehicle repairs to just speed up the repairs. He just wants to get onto the field fast. Damn the consequences. I don't care about the price, just get these tanks back in order as fast as possible. More pioneers here for Fahu to replace some of the lost. He's going for Sturmpanzer, which certainly help us the infantry and likes there, but certainly it won't help us the armour. He's still down to just the Tiger tank there, and that's something that Fahu needs to be careful about, you know, not forgetting. You know, there's still tanks, there's still stuff they can hit to keep his Tiger in check. In particular, if Redwings were to go for something more like another Firefly or Cromwell or another Churchill, all of a sudden that Tiger tank can find himself deeply outnumbered and actually leave Fahu in a bit of a sticky situation. Big charge here. Redwings also would benefit from grenades. I mean, what makes assaults in these positions like this a lot more effective if you just, you know, pop a Mills bomb on the bastards. Sturmpanzer, they're almost done for Fahu. Commanders running up again. This is where, you know, Bren guns would help. By this point, obviously, there's too many grenadiers, so it wouldn't help much. But, you know, say if there'd been just one grenadier squad, it would have been very impactful. So, got the Sturmpanzer out there for Fahu, based on the Panzer IV chassis. Now the land matches bounce towards the south to help deal with some of our troops. Actually pops white phosphorus this time around. You don't get to see that one actually very often. That's quite an impact on the Grenadiers. Not quite as accurate, doesn't quite kill, but it certainly bleeds them out and makes it based to counterattack because the defenders, if you hope trying to defend the point, will be very, very weakened. Instead of the Firefly taking too many hits there, virtually 2 by the way. Pretty good. Bit of interpretation and rate of fire makes the Firefly a lot more flexible. Up north here, Tiger though goes on a rampage versus Redwings infantry up there. We got artillery called in on the point again. Once more, effectively denying him the point there, using artillery. That's actually a really good use of the artillery calling just to deny a victory point. You don't see most any players doing it like that, but great stuff there by Redwings. Great stuff. Certainly highlighting some of the flexibility that the British actually have. Panzer barrage in the centre, machine gun there, pinned to the ground, but not yielding to the German threat. He's 24 points left, it's 119. He is actually bleeding Fahu out here. He's actually bleeding out of the victory point. In fact, he's ground Fahu to a standstill again. Fahu just not going to much there. Lost the land matches though, lost it. Churchill rolling it with a damage in. Actually hit a Telemann he laid down previously there. Fahu, commanders going in though. Gunning down those hapless Grenadiers. Section 10 here. Still no grenades for Redwings. Pantherfaust on the Firefly. He's only got one sample so he can have to repel of his armour. And there you go. Sturmpanzer. I thought that was the Tiger. It's actually the Sturmpanzer versus the Churchill. Not entirely sure that's the best here. At the same time, we got the Tiger moving northwards here. 20 kills for Germany. Yeah, that's not having much of an impact on the Churchill tank, Fahu. That is not having much of an impact. Veterans won there, though I think technically they would have had a few armor piercing rounds, or at least some heat rounds, which would have been quite effective. Tiger tank flying in from the north here against the Firefly and the 6-pounder gun. Needs to rocket, needs to stun and blind it. There we go. Point blank stun and blind of the Tiger tank. He's going to attack round here, I think. Blitzkrieg, no damage in, he gets out range of the 6-pounder gun here. Oh, he popped. Oh, he timed it wrong. He popped vehicle crew repairs too early. I can't get the Tiger tank. The exit smoke's not making it harder for the 6-pounder gun to spot the Tiger and deal with it. And Fahu knows where the Firefly is. He just needs to attack round through the smoke. Good hit there, though. Very close to losing the Tiger tank. Can he get the Firefly? There we go. It goes down. The munition is cooked. Redwings is short. One Firefly tank destroyer. And there you go, Fahu getting over the Tiger tank. Very close to eventually free. He'll soon have a do-it-yourself Tiger race. For the frugal Wehrmacht commanders, the do-it-yourself Tiger race. Recommended by Albert Speer himself. Another Firefly there for Redwings. Firing the base there, actually getting a few kills. Churchill advancing, taking hits there from the Sturmpanzer again. Still not making much of an impact there versus the Churchill tank. Redwings infantry fighting on desperately despite low on health numbers. 19 points left. He's actually using here advanced cover combat just to allow his infantry to keep fighting. And it's one of the few cases he's actually seen advanced cover combat. And here Redwings is using it when he's absolutely desperate, which is usually when most players just try out stuff because why not? And Fahu's going for a second Sturmpanzer. He really wants to keep the infantry down, but he's forgetting about the Churchill tank and any other potential armor Redwings might bring up. So we got 2 Sturmpanzers here versus Redwings. Down to 12 points, 11 points. Oh dear. 10 points. Versus 90 points. Together they have 100 victory points. This is one of the situations we do not want to be the 10%. And he's got the Churchill moving ahead. Sturmpanzer firing. Closing in on 2. Churchill advances here like a lumbering British giant. Cleaving its way through the Germans as they frantically move out. They're trying to deliver the killing blow here to Redwings. The coup de grace. But sadly can't. There we go. Grenade off from the Churchill. Sturmpanzer number 2 attacking. They can't do anything against a Churchill. This is really what Redwings would have benefited a lot from a Panther. Always get for a Panther if you can. Largely fire there. So right here, Fahu, I think, got too overconfident versus Redwings. Thought he can get away with 2 Sturmpanzers and be a bit clever. And, well, he ran into a Churchill tank. But it's rather armor penetration need, not being clever. Of course, got the Firefly. We could quickly do some upgrades there, though he is short on munitions. That advanced cover combat there, which allowed him to push forwards through Fahu's faltering lines. Also emptied his coffers. Left him on munitions pauper. And we got commanders here down to 2 men barely holding on. Defending the southern victory point, no matter the cost. And there you go. Sturmpad moving down with Grenadiers. We got the Panther moving up. Oh dear, spotted by the Churchill tank. All the Grenadiers were prioritised there. Got the commanders on the run. Sturmpanzer there blitzing forwards. Churchill moving southwards. Fight for the centre here. Landmassers recruit. There you go. Panzer fast on the Churchill tank. Cromwell on the way there for Redwings. Panzerwerfer firing again. On the centre mountain, there you go. Trying to break Redwings' stout defenders. Straight to the machine gun there up close. Vickers, by the way. He pilfered from Redwings. Sturmpanzer still trying to do something against the Churchill tank. And as usual, it's not really working. Tiger tank hits the house with the section in it, wiping out every last man. Veteran 2 for the Sturmpanzer. Tiger tank getting close to the veteran 3 to get the Firefly down there. Cromwell almost down there for Redwings. 75 points versus 10. Firefly lands a good hit there. Tiger tank misses the Churchill. Firefly going after it. There you go, Blitzkrieg. Veteran 3 for the Tiger tank. He has achieved the ace. Oh, Sturmpanzer's got its main gun knocked out. 8 points left for Redwings. 8 points. Trying to get the machine gun there so Sappers can hit the point. 5 points left for Redwings. Grenades off as well. Redwings taking no chances. We've got tactical movement. He's trying to counter blitz. He's trying to throw back Redwings into the sea. Possibly the nearest pond. Sturmpanzer knocked out. Cromwell moving into the base here of Redwings. Sturmpanzer here. Firefly charging past. Panzer fast maybe going off from the Grenadiers here. Yeah, we go. There we go. Cromwell going to the base. Almost got the Tiger tank. Sturmpanzer number 2 abandoned. They're both abandoned, by the way. Both Sturmpanzers have been abandoned. Redwings is stabilised at 1 victory point. Cromwell down. Maybe even taken out by the Firefly. And the Tiger tank there is going to get the Firefly rockets landing on the place. Infantry dying. Holy smokes. So much equipment abandoned. And Redwings lost so much only to get all of these things abandoned. Panzer fire. Here we got the Churchill tank setting up for another go. Tiger tank there. Veteran defeat. 29 kills. Redwings need troops out. This going most of the map though. Fahu's contained his base. Not got a lot of troops left either. He's certainly got no relief in to quickly fill out the ranks. There you go. Panzer down. Huge hit there from recruit Sturmpanzer. Crashing several of Fahu's infantrymen. Another Sturmpanzer down. 6 kills on the Sturmpanzer. Gonna get taken out by Panzerfaust. Cromwell away there for Redwings. Fahu's Tiger could be forced. He's got 49 points left versus Redwings' 1 victory point. Holy smokes. This is gonna be close. This is gonna be very close. This is gonna be one of the closest matches I've ever covered. Troops healing. Cromwell number 2 on the way.
The Cherries are down to their last 25 points.
25 points left. Can Fahu pull it off? There it goes, rushing down the Tiger. Sappers, he's using tactical movement again. Necessity is the mother of people actually using the bloody abilities. Commanders wiped by the Tiger tank. 10 points left for Fahu. 10 points left. Section up north being murdered here by the Grenadiers. He's contesting. 4 points left. Cromwell going for the Tiger tank. Lands a good hit there. 1 point left. 1 point left for both players. And Redwings wins with only 1 victory point left. Bleeding out Fahu in one hell of a spectacle here on Faymonville Approach. That was a crazy fight there at times there. Redwings trying to play for Churchill tanks. Fahu, not entirely sure if he actually played intensively with heavy Panzer Corps, just tried to use the sort of push for the Tiger, but certainly some slight issues there. I think the overall issue for Fahu was just force composition. The Panther ever didn't do much for him. He would have benefited more from some Panther at the time, and a Panther at times would also definitely done a lot more for Fahu again. I think he got too confident there with the double Sturmpanzers because it just doesn't make sense to go for double Sturmpanzers there. Redwings still pulled through some nasty maneuvers there. Both players, by the way, just not really going for machine guns and not being largely infantry fights. So a lot of maneuvering there. That was actually pretty interesting to see there as well. Few mines as well. Artillery, lots of artillery, which never really amounted much except for Redwings. Basically, artillery uses to deny points to Fahu just to prevent the bleed. And that's actually really clever there by Redwings. So I think a very exhilarating and exciting match here on Faymonville Approach. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from it. Hope it gives you different matches. If you did, subscribe, like, share, and comment on it. And of course, a big thanks to my Patreon supporters, which this video would not be possible. If you'd like to support me, and I'd certainly be happy to if you did, there's links in the video description where you can also support on PayPal if you don't wish to support on a more monthly basis. And you can also find there links where you can send in replays. This is Imperial Lynching. Cheers, thank you all for joining in, and hope to see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye.